Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss one more new chapter from history part, that is the Mughal Empire. Dear students, in the Middle Age, a very powerful empire was that of the Mughals. From the later half of the 16th century, they expanded their kingdom from Agra and Delhi. Until in the 17th century, they controlled nearly all of the subcontinent. The legacy left by them stands unparalleled. The next main point, who were the Mughals? The Mughals were descendants of Genghis Khan, and from the father's side they were the descendants of Taimur. The next main point, Mughal military campaign. Babur, the first Mughal emperor, captured Delhi in 1526 by defeating Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Panipat. Humayun captured Delhi back in the year of 1555. Akbar captured Chittor, Ranthambore, Gujarat, Bihar, Bengal, Kashmir and Berar, Khandesh, etc. Jahangir took campaign against Sikhs and Ahoms. Shah Jahan captured Ahmednagar and Bijapur. Aurangzeb waged a long battle in the Deccan. Dear students, the next main point of this lesson, that is Mughal traditions of succession. The Mughals did not believe in the role of primogeniture, where the eldest son inherited his father's estate. They followed the customs of coparcenary inheritance, or a division of the inheritance amongst all the sons. The next main point, Mughal relations with other rulers. The Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against rulers who refused to accept their authority. But as the Mughals became powerful, many other rulers also joined them. Voluntarily, the Rajputs served the Mughals voluntarily. Mughals gave Mansab and Jagir, which helped them to expand their territories. The main source of income available to Mughal rulers was tax on the produce of the peasantry. The next main point of this lesson, that is Akbar's policies. Akbar's works are found in the book, that is Akbarnama, written by Abul Fazl. Akbar divided his kingdom into provinces called Subas, governed by a Subedar. Akbar's nobles commanded large armies and had access to large amounts of revenue. While Akbar was at Fatehpur Sikri, he started discussion on religion with the Ivelmas, Brahmanas, Jesuit priests who were Roman Catholics and Zoroastrians. The discussion took place in the Ibadat Khana. Akbar realized that religious scholars emphasized rituals and dogmas were often beggars. It led Akbar to the idea of Sulha Aikul, or universal peace. Shah Jahan and Jahangir also followed this principle. The last main point of today's class, that is the Mughals empire in the 17th century and after. The administrative and military efficiency of the Mughal Empire led to great economic and commercial prosperity. The Mughal emperors and their Mansabdars spent a great deal of their income on salaries and goods. The wealthier peasantry and artisanal groups, the merchants and bankers profited in this economic world. Primary producers, however, lived in poverty. By the 18th century, several provinces started declaring independence, though they continued to regard Mughals as their masters. Dear students, up to here we have discussed many points like Mughal military campaign, who were the Mughals, Mughal tradition of succession, Mughal relations with other rulers, Akbar policies, and finally the Mughals empire in the 17th century and after. I hope you all are understood all the important points of this lesson explanation. Thank you and bye bye.